The door to the hospital room felt heavier than it actually was as you hesitated on the threshold. Your fingers itched to reach for the handle again, to turn around and run away from everything. From him, from the memories, from the ache that had never left your chest. But something inside told you it was time. You inhaled sharply, brushing away the lingering tremor in your hands, and finally stepped inside. The stark fluorescent light reflected off the white walls, cold and unfeeling, yet it didn't matter. Your eyes immediately found him, Jungkook lay on the bed, chest bare except for the thick bandage wrapped around his torso. His dark hair fell messily over his forehead, slightly damp with sweat from the medicine that coursed through his veins. His head was propped up by the pillow, but he was not looking at you. Instead, his gaze was fixed out the window, distant, lost, almost fragile in a way that made your stomach knot painfully. For a moment you froze, your heart threatening to betray you with a sob that you swallowed harshly. Then he turned his eyes towards you. There was no anger there now, no prideful mask, just a tired, haunted expression that seemed to carry years of unshed tears. Your steps were slow, measured, each one heavier than the last, until you reached the side of the bed and finally sat beside him. You couldn't speak immediately. All you could do was breathe, your eyes tracing the pale curve of his cheek, the faint rise and fall of his chest beneath the bandages, the vulnerability that you had never allowed yourself to see before. "Hey," you finally whispered, your voice cracking despite your effort to stay steady. How are you feeling?" He glanced at you, eyes softening slightly, then shrugged. "I'm fine," he said quietly, almost too quietly. His voice had that familiar rough edge but stripped of its usual arrogance or irritation. It carried exhaustion, heartbreak and relief all at once. You studied him, heart aching at the sight of his injuries and the pain that lingered in his eyes. "Fine?" you asked, incredulous, your fingers tightening into fists at your sides. You call shooting yourself and laying in a pool of your own blood. "Fine?" He gave a small tired smile on that didn't reach his eyes. "I didn't want anyone to see me like that, not even you," he admitted. I was tired, Ryan. Tired of everything, tired of pretending I was okay, tired of the pain, tired of carrying all this alone. We were just hiding, and suddenly all the anger that had been buried under layers of guilt and fear exploded. "You coward," you said sharply, your voice shaking, tears threatening again. "Do you even realize what you did? You could have died. Do you know how selfish that is?" He flinched at the word, a shadow of shame crossing his features. His voice was barely audible as he replied, Maybe it was selfish, but I couldn't bear it anymore. I have been living in pain every day, Ryan, and I didn't know how to stop it without breaking completely. I thought ending it would finally give me peace." Anger and heartbreak collided in your chest, and before you knew it, your tears fell freely, and he mirrored you almost instantly. His head lowered slightly, and his shoulders shook with the sobs he had been holding. For a long while, neither of you spoke. The room was filled only with the sound of your quiet crying, the harsh reality of everything that had been buried under pride, fear, and misunderstandings. Then slowly, after what felt like hours compressed into minutes, you reached out, your hand brushing against his arm. "Jungkook," you whispered, your voice trembling, "we need to clear this, all of it." He nodded, his lips quivering, and the words that followed were choked, broken, but truthful. "I told you before too. I never hated you. I never stopped caring, even when I pretended I was angry. Yes, but it was anger. I didn't know how else to feel. I missed you, and I couldn't handle losing you again." You felt your chest tighten at his confession, and despite the fear and caution still gripping your heart, you did the only thing that made sense in that moment. You stood up slowly, and without another word wrapped your arms around him. The walls of pride, pain, and misunderstanding collapsed as he let himself fall into your embrace. His head rested against your stomach, and finally, after years of silence and distance, he broke down completely, sobbing against you. "Ryan," he whispered between broken breaths, "I'm so sorry. Please, can you forgive me?" You held him tighter for a moment, feeling his tears soak into your shirt, his body shaking from the weight of everything he had carried alone. But then slowly you pulled back slightly, cupping his face in your hands and wiping his tears away. I can't answer that yet, you said softly, your voice gentle but firm. I need time for myself. Time for everything. His eyes fell, a shadow of sadness crossing his features, but he nodded understanding. Then can I be your friend for now? A small smile broke through your tears, one that was hesitant but genuine. Yes, you whispered, at least it's better than facing my cold, harsh, and hurtful words. But now we can be friends. He let out a shaky laugh, the sound weak but honest. Friends, he repeated, and you mirrored his smile, holding it in your chest like a fragile promise. The room felt lighter somehow, not completely healed, not completely free, but a small step towards peace, towards understanding, forgiveness, and maybe one day love again. And in that quite fragile moment, both of you knew that while the road ahead would be long for the first time in years, it wouldn't be walked alone.